In this video, we're now going to cover one more form that we can see an equation of a line written in, okay? So in the last video, we talked about how point-slope form, which we had right here, if we put that into Desmos, gave us a beautiful line that we could plot on a coordinate plane, okay? Now, if we didn't have Desmos, this would not be terribly easy for us to plot. So that's why we have another form that you'll actually most commonly see a line written in, okay? So this is one way you can see a line written, but most commonly you'll see it written like this because it's a little bit easier to understand. So in this video, we're now going to talk about how to take something in point-slope form and change it to slope-intercept form. And it's actually pretty easy. All we have to do is make sure y is by itself and everything over here is simplified, okay? Like we would do for an equation. So we want to make sure we take the -7/3 first and distribute that to both of the terms that we see here. So that would be simplifying, right? So I have -7/3 x. Okay, this gets a little weird, right? Because if I have -7/3 times 3, what would that be? Well, one way to do this is I can think about both of these being fractions. So let's turn 3 into a fraction. I could just write that over 1. Okay, so one way I could do this is I could think of multiplying straight across. Okay, right? I could take -7 times 3, multiply straight across, I get -21, and then straight across there, and I get 3. And then I know that turns into, well, -21 divided by 3, that's -7. Cool. That's one way to do it, okay? And that will always work. Multiply straight across the numerator, straight across the denominator, and then simplify, okay? One other way you could do this that might be a little bit easier, so this is a nice little trick, and we'll definitely use this a lot more later on, is if I have something in the numerator and the denominator, and they're both exactly the same, I am actually allowed to cross them out one for one, okay? If there's one of these, one of those, and they're exactly the same, I can cross them out. Then I multiply straight across, so -7, whoop, over 1, whoop, and that's just -7, right? So it's a little bit quicker doing it this way versus just always multiplying straight across. So that's another trick you can use. So there we go. I distributed that and multiplied it, and then this turned into -7. Alrighty. On the left-hand side, I still have this y minus 2, right? And at the end of this, I need to make sure that y is all by itself. So how do I move this -2 over to the other side? Okay. So if I want to move it over, I have to do the opposite sign of what I see. Okay. I have to add 2 to this side, and what I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. Now, I need to add this to just the number, okay? So I need to add this to the -7, not to the -7/3 x, because this has an x and this doesn't, okay? So I add this over to the number I see there, and I get y, because that cancels out. Now that's gone. Y is all by itself, so y equals -7/3 x and -5. Beautiful. So now you can see how this is in slope-intercept form, okay? The m, just like in the formulas above, that stands for the slope. What is this b all about, though? Well, the b in this formula actually stands for something called the y-intercept. Okay, so that's why this is called slope-intercept form, okay? Now check this out. If I take this, and again, I'll put this into Desmos, so -7/3 x minus 5. Y equals -7/3 x minus 5. Okay, so check this out. It's exactly the same line, and that's what we should expect. It's the same line, it's just in a different form. This one was in point slope form, and this one was in slope intercept form. Different forms, but they're the exact same line. Now, remember how I said the b here is our y-intercept. So whatever numbers at the end, like this -5 that we see, that's the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is the place, this is the place the line crosses the y-axis. Okay, so right now if we're looking at this, it's telling us that our line is going to cross the y-axis right at -5. So let's check to make sure that's true. Definitely, so there's the y-axis, crosses it right at -5. Beautiful. That's exactly what we were hoping to see. So that covers it. In this video, we were just talking about how we take a line in point slope formula and change it to something in slope intercept